Welcome to Writer Therapy, a space for serious writers to talk openly about creativity, workflow, balance, and everything in between. Join us for casual conversations about craft, the writing life, and why we keep coming back to the page. No matter where you are in your writing, you're welcome here. This is Writer Therapy. In this episode, we'll be talking to Mike Grindrod, who covers the world of tabletop gaming as a newly qualified freelance journalist. Mike is currently working on his debut urban fantasy novel, Hell Isn't Empty.
All right, Mike, thank you for joining. And tell us about yourself. Tell me all about yourself.
So my name's Mike. I am from Manchester in the UK. I'm a single parent. I have a 6-year-old boy. It was his birthday like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I'm a burgeoning writer, a qualified freelance journalist, and currently working on my first novel.
So as a freelance journalist, like what's your main topic there? Like where are you writing?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've been a DM for about 5 years. We've played through like 3 or 4 campaigns. It started out as a teaching game.
Yeah.
And then I've kind of transferred my passion for that into trying to make a go of journalism.
Awesome. So what is like the news in the Dungeons and Dragons world? I don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, but I gotta say, I feel like left out. Like I feel like I would love it. And I just don't know
if you're a storyteller and a writer, I think you'd have a great time with D&D because the main thrust of it is it's a collaborative storytelling experience. Right. Like, so the players all make their own characters and the DM comes up with like a scenario or like a story situation, and it's up to the players to kind of navigate their way through it, find the clues, like work out what the DM's kind of got going on in his head. But the fun part is because obviously if you're DMing and you've got 5 people sat on the opposite side of the table as players, they're going to outthink you. Right. 99% of the time. So quite often, like you'll have an idea in your head and one of them will go, "Oh, what if it's this?" And I'm like there with a notebook going, "Well, it is now. That'll be better than my plan."
So the dungeon master creates a plan. Is that the idea? And they like create the plot?
So like they're in control of like the setting. So at the start of a session, it'll be like, "Oh, so we're all in a tavern. You're all sat around a table. You know, introduce your characters, tell us a little bit about them." And then from there, there's, we'll introduce some way that they get sent on a quest or a job of some kind, be it like some kind of investigation or like just go out and fight some monsters. Like we've been having problems with goblins, for example. And so we've just run one that was like a 3-year-long Curse of Strahd campaign, which is basically Dracula in D&D.
Okay, cool.
It was very fun. We've had like I can think one player died like 7 times over the course of the 3 years, just because he kept making like really silly moments, but they were really good for his character. It's what his character would have done in that situation, because he was making these like really like virtuous, good characters who'd put themselves in harm's way to save other people.
Right.
But, when you're in a demi-plane run by a vampire lord, like the odds are against you, and if you're risking yourself, bad things are going to happen.
So you have to play them within the rules and scope of Dungeons and Dragons. Like you can't just go and be a hero. Like you're gonna get killed. It works like that.
Well, it depends on the setting. So, like I said, for Curse of Strahd, it can be quite punishing if they're kind of looking to be like, oh, I'm going to be a hero. I'm going to go out and put myself in dangerous situations to make other people's lives easier. Curse of Strahd is notoriously famous for killing heroes.
Okay, all right.
Whereas, like, we played a one-shot the other week, and it was insanity. There was no kind of sense to it.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of sessions where like we're falling out of chairs, like crying, laughing at each other.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that mix of like focused, sort of strict to storytelling, and then that kind of side of it's a silly fantasy world where we can just do what we want, really.
So it's insanity in a good way, as in like there's systems in place where it's not going to just be like
so there's rule systems. But there's kind of like an overarching rule, which we like to use, called the rule of cool, where it's basically like, if it sounds cool, I'll let you do it.
I love it. I'm going to have to find it where I live, because all these years I keep thinking like, I'm just missing out. I'm missing out on all these like friends and just this fun time.
It's a really great community. Like I'm part of a group, like an in-person playing group called Dungeons and Dice Manchester. Okay. So there's a sports centre near us called Greystone, where they do like skate parks. They have like scooters and skateboards and stuff. But they also have rooms that they book out for kids' parties. And we've made a bit of a deal with them that we book them out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they get like 70 odd nerds coming buying drinks and food.
I love it. And so your son is 6, right? And
Yeah.
does he get into it too, or
Yeah, so it's hard. It's kind of harder running games for kids because
right,
they don't want to pay attention to rules. They just want
right?
to do the silly fantasy stuff. But we have a group with my friend Charlie and her 2 boys, and they come round in the summer holidays and I run games for the kids as well. But
That's awesome.
that's a completely different beast to running it for adults.
Right. Oh yeah. I can imagine there's like there must be some sort of American. We're like, how can you make money out of it? I'm just thinking like there must be some market for
Oh,
kids.
there are
There
people
must
who
be
like
some.
DM. There are people who DM for money. So like
Yeah.
they just charge like an hourly rate and they'll come and be your DM for like 3 hours.
And do they
There's a
do
lot of
things
like
like for kids, like programs for kids or versions that kind of
yeah.
work for kids?
So there's a company I used to work for actually called Steamforged.
Yeah.
They're like a third party producer for Dungeons and Dragons and board game material in general. And they had an in-house thing that was like built to be compatible with Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition called Animal Adventures. And it
Okay.
basically strips out a lot of the rules
Okay.
and just makes it a lot more like palatable for kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe not as like violent and
Source books after source books for Dungeons and Dragons. Like you've got the player handbook, the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Monster Manual, which is like where you've got all your monsters stat blocks, and then there's like they're like the 3 main ones, and then there's the supplementary books like Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, which is like extra rules,
hmm
Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, which is like I think it was Critical Role did that one, but that brings in a lot of like new items, new places, like new areas for you to kind of build into your world.
Oh wow.
But a lot of it's really kind of it's a very collaborative game in the sense of you're telling a story with your players, but there's also this massive community of people who are like sharing their ideas for sessions and like sharing one shots. And like you mentioned doing it for money before, there's like a place called like things like DM's Guild where people will like
Yeah.
write out adventures and come up with adventures and like come up with the mechanics for it, and
That's
they'll sell them
awesome.
there. There's like PDFs.
How much like time does being into Dungeons and Dragons like take in your life? Like, is it like a
It's a
big?
toss up
Yeah.
between whether I'm going to be doing D&D prep or whether I'm going to be writing on any given night. To be honest,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. And how?
but again, like D&D prep, like I use like Microsoft Word and just write all my ideas on there. So it's still kind of working on
is
that kind
writing.
of creative. It's writing. It's just a different
Right.
style of writing.
So tell me about your current project. So you're writing a novel,
I
right?
am, yeah.
And it's I have it right here. Hell is not empty. Hell isn't
Hell
empty.
isn't, yeah, hell isn't empty. Yes.
So tell me where you're at in the progress. Have you like written it all out in your editing? Where are you at?
I'm about 18 chapters in.
Okay.
So we've made good progress. I've been writing it for about a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
And it came off the back of a friend just sending me a writing prompt. Like I have a few like short stories that I've written based on like artwork that people have done who I'm friends with.
Cool.
But then this friend, as I say, this friend sent me a Andy, what are you doing out there? Sorry, the dog's trying to eat my slipper.
It's all good.
Andy,
It's all good.
on your bed. Come on. Anytime he thinks I'm distracted, he's like, right, what can I chew? So it's the title "Hell Isn't Empty" is a riff on Shakespeare. It's, Hell is empty and all the devils are here. The basic premise of it would be it's kind of a riff on Christian dogma with some like anti-capitalist themes in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's very so like God has the day of rapture came and God looked at Earth and went, "No, I think I'll leave that,"
Okay.
and
Yeah.
just took heaven from the equation and just left. So all
Yeah.
that's left now is hell and earth, and basically the weight of the damnation is causing Earth to sink into hell layer by layer,
Mhm.
essentially. But humans haven't noticed because things are so bad here anyway that it's just like, it's just the next thing that's getting worse.
Right.
There's more like natural disasters and things going
Seems kind of
on.
accurate.
This is what I mean. Well, this was the writing prompt was basically Earth has been slowly descending into the hell for the last 5 years, but humanity hasn't noticed because gestures are everything.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
I started out, I did like one chapter, which is the opening chapter in the book. Originally, it was just a page long. Started out as this kind of this demon's perspective of like, why aren't they noticing this? Like,
Oh, great. I love that.
and then it kind of, I was like, I really like this idea, like this concept of like a demon questioning why humans are so bad.
It reminds me of like Screw Tape Letters again. That's great. Have you ever read that?
I don't think I have, no.
For your book, read it and just it'll like pump you up. You'll be so excited.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna love
Awesome.
it. Read it whenever you get a chance. That's C.S. Lewis. So is that your main character?
Yes, My main character, well, there's three perspectives in the book. So you've got Phoenix, who is this demon that comes to Earth to be like, is there anything here worth saving?
Mm-hmm.
There is Sam, who is a human woman who saves him from getting hit by a car.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lucifer, who is sat in hell watching it all kind of unfold and being like, I can't get involved because I gave them free will. Like, they took free will for themselves, and that was a choice they made, and now they have to live with the consequences of it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he has this love for humanity because he sees that we are capable of choosing and we can be better if we choose to be. It's just this he feels defeated by the fact that he gave us free will and we've done this with it.
Mm-hmm. So when you write it, did you have like an outline, or are you kind of like writing as you feel at this point? Like, so they say you're either a pantser
At first,
or
it was very much just kind of like writing and letting it come out. But then I got to a point where I was like, I don't know really where I need to go from here. So I started planning a little bit more then.
Yeah.
Like the first few chapters, it's a lot of things happening, like the same events happening from different perspectives. So you get Phoenix's kind of sardonic demon side of it going, I don't really understand what's happening here. Like, why can't I make sense of this?
Yeah.
And then you've got Sam's side of it, who's kind of watching him and going, he's getting there. Like he's putting pieces together, but I don't understand why he's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's not going to turn up and be like, hi, I'm a demon.
Right.
Like, there's rules and stuff. He's not allowed to be like, I'm a demon. Like, the world is ending. Everything's fucked. We need to fix this.
Right.
Because like Hell's fate. Don't really like using the word fate, but Hell's like eventual. Its end point is tied to Earth's end point. If Earth goes, it's going to take Hell with it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Phoenix is set out kind of trying to save himself initially, and then through Sam and seeing her actions and how she interacts with people, he kind of he starts to think there is something worth saving here. Sam's been through her own kind of traumas as well, so seeing Phoenix trying to understand why things are the way they are kind of spurs her into a sort of emotional healing arc. And I think each of the three characters is like an element of myself.
Mm-hmm.
There's this Phoenix who's kind of looking at the world and going, this is like really bad and I don't understand why, and it doesn't seem like it's getting much better anytime soon. There's Sam who lives in that and kind of feels the same way but can't stop herself from trying to help people and trying to make it better. Right. Even though she like consciously she's like, this is pointless, but there's something that still pushes her to want to make the world a better place. And that's kind of explored through the lens of the trauma, which is like losing her father and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lucifer is, again, he feels like there should be something he can do, but because of his position and where he is, there's nothing he can do about it.
And do you feel like, how do you separate those voices? Because, yeah, like I've done that too. It's like, I know you mean, it's like you take one aspect of your personality and like inject it into this character, and that character,
yeah,
the character's not like a cartoon of that. It's just that's
it's just this one aspect of them that I'm kind of exploring through this character.
How much time are you able to write?
So as a single parent, and again, I'm kind of moving it between multiple focuses, between like journalism, which I'm doing for, trying to pay the bills, and then D&D, which I'm doing as a hobby, and then the novel, which is a passion project, which may one day help pay the bills.
Mm-hmm.
On a given night, I'd be doing maybe a couple of hours on any one of those things. But the journalism coursework, like it's a recent qualification that as well. It was the February this year that I finished up. Finished the course, but I've got my press pass and everything now. I've got my certificates and diplomas. It's a nice feeling of like, I did that, I put the work in and I did it, and that's kind of spurring me on a little bit more with the novel now.
Yeah,
because it's like, well, I've put the work in there and I've done that. This is the next kind of project that I'm really going to focus in on now. As I say, we finished the Dungeons and Dragons campaign as well, so it's pretty much all just novel work now.
So the for the journalism, is that something where do you write and like sell your
so it would be
or?
The way I do it, I like, as I say, I'm a writer. I like working with written word. So I'm pitching to like magazines, online outlets and stuff. And it's, it's not, particularly like hard hitting journalism. It's not like I'm going deep undercover and investigating things. It's just, I'm talking to my friends and people who are involved in the D&D hobby about things I enjoy and what things I don't like, getting their opinions and then getting that on paper and seeing if it's worth anybody else paying interest to it.
That's kind of the I feel like I'm pitching this thing, but you should check out School. You joined it. You joined the
Yeah,
group,
yeah,
but check it
yeah.
out for what you're doing, like, because and I find this even like I'm a videographer, photographer, right? But I've made, I wanted to do fashion. I wanted to do, because what's fashion is like you shoot beautiful people and you put music to it and you make cool videos and cool. It's a good time. But the truth is like everyone would do that for free. So
Yeah.
I couldn't make any money doing it. And then so I ended up doing biotech. I shoot biotech and I have no interest in it. I failed science. I was awful at it. But I'm now like a niche. I can offer a niche. And because of that, I'm like almost specialized in that for videography and photography. So I imagine your beautiful skill set here is that you're like so experienced with D&D that that niche is going to be incredible for you. So it's great that you kind of found it right away, as opposed to, I don't know, do I write about the news? Do I write about this? Do I write about
Well,
that?
that was part of the course. It was kind of identifying like the things I want to write about, and like my first go to D&D 100%, because that's
Yeah,
I play every Saturday and every second Tuesday. I have like a
awesome.
core group. I have a core group of friends that I see very regularly to play D&D, and we have that fantastic rapport. We have that escapism together where we all just get to be silly for 4 hours.
Right.
Like, you've not lived until you've spent 4 hours pretending to be a goblin that doesn't speak English.
That's great.
It was fun. It's fun. He's one of my favorite characters because I can just sit there sounding like Stitch for 4 hours
Right, right.
and
And
just causing chaos. And they're like, we have no idea what this guy's saying because his character doesn't speak English.
and how can you, it's like, what a good friendship that you can act like that in front of, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's,
exactly. Like, it
you
takes a
don't have
level of
that.
like, I can be stupid and I know I'm not going to be judged for it because that's what
Yeah,
we're here for.
right. And honestly, like adults, we need it.
Like the one of the I found this out through a friend of mine called Meg. Like, we were both going through some pretty rough stuff, and we went for like a walk in nature, and we walked past this tree, and I was just staring at it. And she went, "You want to climb that tree, don't you?" And I was like, "I really fucking do." Like, so she went, "Go for it," and I went, "You know what? I will." And I just dumped my bag on the floor, and I got up the tree, and then she got up the tree, and people walked past, and they were looking at us like we were mental. But we were just howling, laughing up a tree, and it was like it's honestly one of the best ways to like stave off feeling shitty is just give in to your inner child, jump in
Yeah.
puddles, do knee slides on wet grass, like climb trees, like see if you can vault fences and stuff, and don't worry if you fall on your ass because that's part of the fun.
And the perk of D&D is that you have like there's systems in play. Like my wife will always say, I'm trying to play this like game with our son, but like his rules make no sense. Like we just say,
Yeah.
the drill. So you can actually do that, but like you can actually go somewhere. There's an actual plot. I love it.
Yeah.
So how do you now like? I mean, so you're writing as part of your career and also like your main like hobby, but how do you blend your writing life with your real life? Do you tell people about writing? Do you have people you talk to about writing?
Yeah, so I've got my WordPress account at www.grimwrites.com, and there's kind of examples up there of like reviews I've done of video games and stuff when I was first starting with the journalism things. There is there's a short story up there called The Bard, which is based on a piece of that friend Meg's artwork. She's a graphic designer. She's fantastic.
Yeah, I saw a lot of the artwork's beautiful. Especially
Yeah,
the Bard, that one in particular. I love that
yeah,
one.
so I'm the model for the bard in that tarot image.
Okay, I'm looking at it
out
now.
from under it. That's me.
Did you put on the cloak and everything?
Yeah, well, no. I have got a kind of cloak like that with the big pointy hood.
Yeah. She used like the.
She messaged me one day and she was like, "Can you send me like a side profile picture?" And I was like, "Okay." But yeah, so like, I'm very collaborative kind of work that we do. So yeah, the Bard short stories on there if anyone ever wants to give that a read, and then obviously the first 8 chapters of Hell Isn't Empty are on there as well. And I think that's probably one of the most recent things I've posted on there for a while, to be honest with you.
And so what is your trajectory for Hell Isn't Empty? Like you said, 18 chapters. How far in the story are you?
I've only sort of just introduced antagonists, really, like because it was a lot of it was like 17, or like I think it was up to chapter 15. It was just Sam and Phoenix kind of hanging out and him experiencing the world and her trying to kind of guide him through it. I was like, I'm enjoying this from like a writing perspective of like getting through my own thoughts and putting it into a story. But you know, a story needs sort of stakes. It needs something that's kind of pushing them into things. So I need to bring some antagonists in, or just some kind of story device to sort of push it along and have these moments of revelation. So I've introduced a group of angels who are the Watchers. I don't know if you're into like biblical mythology.
Yeah, no,
But,
yeah, like so do you go off of like for these kind of things, or what's
no,
your...
so the Watchers are from the Book of Enoch, which is an apocryphal text.
Right.
It's basically they were the reason for the fall of Sodom and Gomorrah and the flood. They came down to earth and fell in love with humans, took human wives, gave birth to children called the Nephilim, who were like half angel, half human, and they taught humans how to use magic. They taught us like metalworking and things like that. But then they were basically supposedly drowned on earth with the flood and with the fall of Sodom and Gomorrah. The twist in the story is they've been here the entire time because they couldn't get back into heaven. And now that heaven's gone, they've taken it as we were left here to make sure that everything goes kaput. Like this is how we get our penance, like to end it all.
I see. All right, I love it. That's a great insight.
They think this collapse is part of God's plan, and it's more just the fact that God went, washing my hands of this.
In terms of editing, so like, do you edit as you go, or right now you just like let me get it out, and then you're gonna come back to it? What are you thinking?
A little bit of both. So I'll have sessions where I'll go through and I'll be like, right, I'm just gonna go through from chapter 1 and like read all through all this before I start the next one. See if I can catch anything, see if there's anything I want to rewrite. Occasionally, people will point it out to me. Like I'll be like, "Oh, can you read this latest chapter for me?" to someone, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you've spelt this wrong, or the grammar's slightly off here."
Right.
But by and large, I am pretty much focused on just getting it out at this point, like getting the ideas down, getting the words down, and then I can go through and get it all kind of done professionally at that point before I try and pitch it or kind of self-publish or something like that. I'd be lying if I said I haven't thought about it. I have thought about it. But I haven't really decided anything with regards to kind of whether I want to go down a traditional publishing route with an editor and an agent, or whether I want to try and like self-publish somewhere like Amazon or something like that.
That's a conversation I'm having with a lot of writers on here, is that people seem to find that self-publishing is better. It seems to be.
Yeah, I have a friend who I have a friend who has a friend, but he was like, he told me that he put a book up on Amazon for like £1. Just to get it out there and get it sold, and he made a good couple of £1,000s off it.
Oh wow!
Which, you know, is not to be sniffed at.
No,
but you know, I mean, I'm inspired by people like Douglas Adams and like Tolkien. I love this epic fantasy feel, and I mean, my writing style is probably more Douglas Adams than Tolkien, if I'm honest with you. Like the kind of sardonic, sarcastic nature of it.
Right.
But yeah, I think a lot of the themes are kind of coming from like more Tolkien-esque work, like hope in the face of darkness and things like that.
I mean, that's evergreen. That's an evergreen theme. You know, it's a great thing. So I find like I find my first draft of my current novel, I was like 300,000 words. How you doing on word count? That's the big thing, is like word count. Do you think about that, or are you just like whatever?
I'm somewhere around 40,000, I think.
Okay, wow. So 40,000, and you feel like if you had to like put a percentage on it, where are you at in the story?
I'd say I'm probably like maybe a third of the way through.
Yeah, all right, so that's good. Because I was at like 300,000, and now I'm on like my 4th draft, and I think I'm like just got under 200.
Yeah.
And so it's like wild because, and I think I'll get it down. I think I'll get it down to maybe 150. But like, oh my gosh, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like cutting your own beautiful ideas.
I think the biggest problem for me when it comes to like editing, because again, you're getting the same events from the perspective of 3 different characters. So there's a kind of there's a bit of rehashing of like voice dialogue events as they happen kind of thing. And sometimes I'm like, do I need this to be so stringently matching?
Right.
But then you have the issue of like unreliable narrator, don't you? Because if one of them is kind of telling you something happened that someone else didn't tell you happened, it's like, well, which one of them was kind of right? Were they both right? One of them just wasn't paying attention to that kind of thing. It's trying to make sure I'm avoiding the unreliable narrator without just telling you the same events in 3 separate chapters. Right.
Is it that you'll take a scene and then like you're chopping it into 3 parts, or is it that you're
No,
taking
it's the same scene would be in both chapters. It would just be one
Right.
of them is more focused on something else than the
I
other one
see.
in
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
moment. So,
Yes,
like,
you're really
for
getting a
instance, there's a
full.
scene where Fenix eats human food for the first time, and he, in his mind, he's like, "Oh my god, the taste!" But not "Oh my god." He doesn't say "Oh my god" as a point of like reference. He calls
Right.
him the big man upstairs.
Right.
But yeah, so he's gushing over how amazing food is and like, wow, that it's worth saving just for this. And Sam is watching him eat, and she's internalizing like he eats like he's never eaten anything before. Like, was he starved as a child? So you're getting the same event, but you're getting a different perspective on it.
Cool. Yeah, so I can see the challenge there where you're like, yeah, where am I repeating things? Like the reader already knows this. So
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
I think what works about it though is when they get something wrong about each other.
Yeah.
Like Phoenix gets like upset about something, for example, and she thinks it's something that she said to him, and it's not. It's because he feels protective of her, and he's upset that she feels that way. Not because she's voiced it to him.
Right.
Because he's upset because she's upset.
Yeah, so it's people assume. I love that because it shows like all the miscommunications we all have, but you're showing it.
Well, this is part of it. Like, you never know what's going on in someone else's brain. Like,
it's true.
You might make a social faux pas, and you're like, "Oh my god, everybody hates me. They're all judging me." And
yeah, I do that all.
In the other person's brain, they're like, "That was actually kind of funny. Like, that's ingratiating me to them." Like,
I know, right? Like, and yeah, we'll obsess over. Oh, God, why did I say that? And it's nothing, you know.
And you'll bring it up to someone the next day, and you'll be like, "I'm really sorry about that." And they're like, "Wait, what? Did that happen?" Like, so I've just spent the last 6 hours obsessing about this, and it didn't even register in your mind. Like,
yeah. Well, so I created this community, writer therapy in school, so that writers like us can connect, talk about all these kind of minute details, and actually have people to reach out to for, not even just critique, just to not feel so alone in the writing.
Yeah,
I feel alone in the writing.
Them.
Yeah. And I also feel like getting to know writers like you, it's like I'm seeing how, we're all like in the same process at the same time. It's really fun.
Yeah.
So how could a community like that serve a writer like you? Like, is there anything I could do to serve?
I mean, I think having people to actually read it and give feedback would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of them. You message a friend and go, "Hi, do you want to read this novel I've written?" And they're like, "Dude, this is like 40,000 words long already. I don't have time to just sit down and critique this for you while I've got all this other stuff going on." But a lot of my friends aren't massive readers.
Right.
Like, they'll do like magazine articles and things like that, but they're not like someone who's going to sit down and read a fucking 1,200-page book.
Right. And they haven't been through the like editing process or the writing process. They're not sure.
And then as well, a lot of it, like when you're giving it to people that you care about and that care about you, they don't want to hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
So that there might be something that they don't like about it, or that doesn't sit with them, but because they know you're so passionate about it, they'll go, "Oh no, it was great. I loved it. Like, it was fantastic." And you're like, "No, I'm looking for things that I can do better. I'm looking for how to improve it."
Right. Then what do you think it would work? Like a live critique, or something where you like post a chapter and people make comments? Like, what? I guess I'm asking everyone just to get a sense of like what do you see as like the best solution for something like that?
I think maybe doing it like on a chapter by chapter basis would be good, yeah, because then people can see where it's going, where it's come from, kind of how that feedback helps it evolve as well.
Yeah, so maybe we can do something where we like workshop one chapter, and everyone's like kind of like adding in. Yeah, all right, so something to think about.
I mean, that was part of the reason I put it up on the WordPress site, because then if anyone does want to read it, it's there. They can read it in their own time and critique as they feel. Like, I used to work in a supermarket, and I'd be telling people on the checkout about it and being like, "Go and look at my WordPress site. Tell me what you think."
I love it.
Just ripping off bits of critique, like, "There you go." And made business cards.
I mean, honestly, that's what you gotta do. You have to be shameless. I'm working through being shame, like having so much shame. And you have to have a good amount of shame. I think you should. Shame is good in a certain degree, but you have to be.
Yeah, I think up to a certain level. But I mean, I think if you spend all of your time kind of worrying what other people think and how you're going to be perceived, then you're never going to get anywhere with it. Like,
exactly.
I feel shame with the people that I care about. If I don't know the person, or it's not someone that is going to have any kind of bearing on the rest of my life, then what does it matter really?
That's where I'm hoping it's like, we can form enough of a relationship where it's not, where we care about each other's work.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not like we're going to get in a fight if I say something, it's not going to really matter. If
100%. It's
one of us offends one another.
It's having enough investment in each other to be honest about it.
Exactly.
But not enough that, we're going to get upset if, someone critiques something that you've really enjoyed writing or really that you've put your passion into, kind of thing.
Well, hey, it was really great getting to know you and chatting with you. And
really enjoyed it. We're going to have to do it again. We can update when we're further along with our projects.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I love it.
Amazing.
Well, thank you, man. So nice meeting you. So nice chatting with you.
Thanks very much, man.
Take care.
Have a good day, dude.
You can learn more about today's guest in the description and show notes. If you're a writer looking for a focused, encouraging, and authentic creative community, join us at school.com/writertherapy. Whether you're outlining your first idea, deep into revisions, published, or somewhere in between, you are welcome here. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next session.